Thanks for checking out another clip of the Cashflow Contractor. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. Click subscribe wherever you get your podcast.
So it's 10% now on Mexico and Canada?
It's
Instead of
10% on
25?
everybody who didn't push back, and I think the only one I think the only one remaining is China.
China. And that's 125% or something like that?
It doesn't matter. It's a whole boatload. And
Okay.
I mean, I've studied tariffs since the Nixon days. Frederick Bastiat and Adam Smith wrote about tariffs, and are they good or are they bad or what are they? Well, just take the 30,000-foot view. It's government interference in pricing, and that's bad. That never but that's, as a precept, that's bad because they're jacking with the markets, and the markets are determined by free trade. There are things like we don't want to ship our, we don't want to outsource the production of our nuclear missiles to China.
Sure.
And give them the plutonium and everything, right? So, but that's an excuse. Generally, if you think about it, what a tariff does is favor the producer and penalize the consumer in our country.
Right.
Because it gives producers protection against competition, and you and I and everybody else going to pay for it. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. And no, not okay, but I mean, what's your point? And Frederick Bastiat makes a really good statement about the principles behind that, is that the benefit that tariffs do, like you can show a factory with 25,000 guys working in there and say, look, they're all going to keep their jobs. So the benefit is all concentrated in a place like that, for this consumer, producer, that producer. The harm it does, the increased cost it does, affects everybody and is not immediately visible or measurable, it's not obvious because you can't show the masses of people paying $1.50 more for something. And then they say, well, it's only $1.50. Yeah, it's only $1.50 on that. It's $1.50 on that. It's $200 on that. $2,500 anyway. So it's a little bit of a hoodwink, bamboozlement, right, to put tariffs on.
Two things I wanted to say. One, I wanted to take advantage of these tariffs and see the opportunity to build a factory. And I built a factory, but now the tariffs are gone. So now I don't know. Anybody who says the argument that we're trying to increase our production and our abilities here in the U.S., well, that's awesome. I actually support that manufacturing in the U.S. I think we should manufacture overseas too, but I think that we should have more manufacturing capabilities here, especially for things like steel and aluminum.
Well, that's the security and strategic benefit argument, and I think there's truth to some of that.
There's truth to some of that, but not whenever it's like, yeah, there are 25% tariffs on steel from Mexico, and then, oh, nope, just kidding, 10%. You're not going to be able to sustainably, no one's going to invest millions, potentially billions of dollars into infrastructure for manufacturing when they don't know if it's actually going to last or not. You know what I mean?
Well, once again, a whole lot of people will make decisions in their best interest if allowed to do so. And their best interests are best described by them, not by somebody that's doing this to influence that. And you're right, $1 trillion or whatever's coming in could pledge to come in to build factories. And is it economically feasible? I don't know. If it's temporarily economically feasible, that could get wiped out and then it's stupid. So, I mean, it's a general concept. General concept is if the government is making decisions about who are the winners and who are the losers, that's usually bad. And there are reasons for that. Government people don't have the skill set, meaning Trump is a businessman, but the skill set of all the things that go on, they don't have the knowledge. And by that I mean the specific market knowledge that thousands and thousands of people have about their market. The sum total of their decisions is based on the best information available to them. That's not available at government. Imagine AOC making or Bernie Sanders making the economic decisions for the country. So they don't have the skill set, they don't have the information, and they don't have the incentive, right? Because that's the thing with bureaucrats and government agencies. They can fail and there are no consequences. Maybe that's changing right now, but just I'll take the Department of Education just as one I generally know about. We have performed miserably, not measurably, miserably. And miserably. Measurably miserable.
Yeah.
Since Jimmy Carter created the Department of Education. Not every year has been down. I looked that up. But on a whole, we spend a way lot more money and we get a way lot worse results. There are no consequences. None. Now, maybe that's changing because of Doge and all that. Well, there have to be consequences. And consequences can be positive too. I didn't realize that. I always think of it as negative. But they're a consequence. As a consequence, we did very well, or as a consequence of our efforts, we did very poorly. And we lost our job, right?
Yeah.
And so, as a general rule, if government is making these policies, it's bad. And if we drop all our barriers and want to buy a whole bunch of stuff from China at real cheap, I can see the point. What else can we do? Well, it turns out we do a lot of else. Yes, we've lost, Trump says we lost 95,000 factories. Well, 74% of our economy is non-tangible goods and services. Medicine, entertainment, healthcare.
What you do, what I do.
Consulting, marketing, all the software, AI. I mean, if I ask our listeners, if you don't think about everything that you've bought recently or that you want to buy. I want to buy whatever the new games are. They're not Nintendo anymore, but whatever they are. I want to buy that. I want to buy music. Well, now I don't even buy a CD. I just have a subscription.
Pay a monthly fan, monthly plan.
So, but people seem to think that's not real and that manufacturing is. And then one other thing is, and I can hear people screaming at me, but well, maybe not our listeners, but if I were having this discussion in the Wall Street Journal, there is no such thing as a deficit balance. None. There's no such thing. I sell my stuff, or I buy stuff from China. I get stuff. China gets my cash, or we'll just call it my cash. It's actually credit. In equal amounts. It's a balanced trade. I got stuff, they got my cash. Then people say, well, cash doesn't count. Cash is a deferred means to acquire stuff. That's what it is. Oh, I'm not going to do it today, but I'm going to do it at some point. I've got all this money. What they actually come over.
You mean credit? Are you saying credit instead of cash?
No, they get money. Okay.
Yeah, but you said credit is a deferred. You said cash is a deferred. You meant credit is a deferred?
No.
Cash is a deferred?
If I have cash in my pocket, it's a deferred claim on $1 worth of something from somebody. But I haven't. It doesn't become a barter economy until I go to Walmart and buy some boiled eggs. No, that's what money is.
A dollar. You're talking about what money is. I thought you were talking about the. Okay, I get what you're saying.
No, they get money. They get
really
a
anything.
future
It's just
claim.
deferred. Yeah.
They get a future claim against us, which is to buy stuff or services. And what they do is they buy services. They buy stock. And when they're buying stock in the S&P 500, where a lot of Chinese money goes, it's 95%. I mean, that's 95% of the figures on the internet are made up, right? No, but it's in that realm. The Standard & Poor stock basket, the companies, is intellectual property, pharmaceuticals, or it is. So I have money. I have a claim to buy that. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to buy stock. So I bought services from you. Well, that doesn't count. Why not? Because when we talk a trade deficit, the way they do it is imported goods and services versus exported goods and services. Money doesn't count. They only account if they actually take stuff. And that is a specious argument. I mean, it's saying, only barter counts, right?
Thanks for checking out a clip from the Cashflow Contractor. We have full episodes where we go deep on topics that help you grow a construction business that runs without you so you can have less stress, more time, more money. Now, we've got other videos, other clips, but if you want to check out the full episode for this clip, you can click wherever our editor put it. It might be here, it might be there, it might be over my face, I don't know. But thank you for checking us out. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. So subscribe or check out a full episode wherever you get podcasts.